Hello everyone, my name is Abdel-Rahman, and today I would like to continue installing EGS on the virtual machine that was created in the previous episode. Before I do that, I would like to tweak a little bit the settings of the virtual machine that I've created. So I've opened VirtualBox. This is the machine, and then I will just go to settings. Basically what I want to do, I would like to increase the number of processors in the virtual machine to 8. This is the number of processors that I have actually on my computer, and basically I wanted to take full advantage of all processors that are available. To do that, we'll go to System, and then we have here Processor, and then I would increase this. You don't need to do this, but it's up to you, and you can always test decreasing or increasing the number of CPUs or processors to see that if the virtual machine does not, when it runs and your simulations are running, it's not really slowing down your main computer. So that's up to you. Another thing I would like to do is to increase the memory allocated to video. So I will go and increase this to 64 megs, and that's it. So I'm saving these settings, and now when I start the virtual machine, it should run with 8 processors, and the video memory allocated video memory is going to be 64 MBs. Okay, so now that we have booted our virtual machine, we're going to open terminal, and as usual the first thing we're going to do is to update our system. So it's going to be sudo apt update. We can put 2 and symbols, and just follow it with sudo apt upgrade, and then -y. So I think it's a good time now to take a snapshot of the current image. So I'm going to shut down the virtual machine, take a snapshot, and then load it back again. So now I turned off the virtual machine to take a snapshot. That's very simple. We just hit on the virtual machine, and if we click on the right here, we have snapshots, and I'm going to take a snapshot now. So snapshot 1. With snapshots, the good thing about it is, for example, suppose we try to do some installation of applications and we somehow damaged our virtual machine. Then instead of going back to the beginning, installing the virtual machine from scratch, we can just reload the latest working snapshot of the virtual machine and continue from there. So that's why it's a good idea whenever an important step has been done to actually take a snapshot. So now the snapshot was taken, and we can start the virtual machine again. We have rebooted our system, and now we're ready to install EGS on the virtual machine. So the first thing we're going to start with is installing the prerequisites as well as the optional packages to get the graphical user interfaces running with EGS. Now there is a video actually that explains or demonstrates the steps installing EGS on an Ubuntu was 04 system. This is the same system, except that this is in a virtual machine. So I'm going to do this quite simply, fast, and accelerate the installation process. I've opened the terminal now, and we're going to issue the command sudo apt install, and we're going to start with the essentials. So that will be gfortran, gcc, g++, make, and then we have optionals. So we have tk, xmgrace, lib motif, lib it's one word, lib motif, and then we have dev, and then the next packages will be the qt5, default, and qt5 qmake, and the last package to take advantage of paraprocessing, that will be at, and then put -y, hit enter, and enter our password for sudo, and wait for installation of these packages. So these are the prerequisite packages required by EGS. Okay, we have a problem here, so let's look at okay, xmgrace, I think it's called grace. We'll check now. Yes, it's grace. Okay, so now the packages are installed. We'll go to the next step where we need to download EGS. Let's check if we have git. So git, so we don't have git, so we need to install git, sudo apt install, install git. Now issue the git command to clone the packages EGS from their side. So this is the command, hit on enter. Notice that this will clone, actually it will create a directory called EGSnrc, and under it will be henhouse. Remember, my intention was to actually have henhouse under my home area. So we will need to, so after this download is finished, we will need to move the files into the home area, in henhouse under my home area. So we will need to move the files. So let me go inside the directory, and here I'm showing you actually the contents of the folder that is on my Mac operating system, and currently it's empty. So once I move the files from EGS/henhouse, we need to move them. Okay, move, and we need to move them where to? Henhouse. Let's put the verbose. Okay, so now we're seeing it's moving the files, and as you see in the directory, I'm getting the files are going to be there. Okay, so moving the files finished. So if I issue now ls-la, I shouldn't find anything here. So let's go back to our home area. We can now actually remove the folder. EGS. Yes. Okay. So if I do ls minus la, the EGS folder is no longer there, but we have the the henhouse folder here. We need to now download the graphical installer. It's not necessary to install EGS using the graphical installer, but I think it's easier for easy for a lot of the users there. So we will need to grab it and get it on our system here. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do something reverse of what I've done. So this is on my Mac, a browser. We need to actually download this file in the virtual machine. So I could just open a browser on the virtual machine and download it from there, or I can actually install it from here. So download file as, and I will make sure I'm going to save it into the henhouse directory, which is shared between the virtual machine and my Mac operating system. Okay, so I need to change the directory. Select, let's put it in the henhouse. Okay. So I'm going to put it there, save it. So it's going to save the file. And let's go into henhouse in the virtual machine. Okay, let's do an ls minus la. The file is here. It's still not finished downloading. Let's refresh. Okay, there is the file. It's an executable, and all what we need to do now is just execute it and proceed with the graphical installation. So I'm going to select /home /henhouse. That's the system location for henhouse. And for the working area for EGS home, I'm going to select home /wabdel/EGS_home. This is the second directory that we have mounted between my Mac and the virtual machine on the previous episode. So choose and then next. Okay, yes, and then next. So let's set the environment and create desktop shortcuts and hit the install button. So now the installation completed. And all what we need to do is just type make, and it will compile the graphical user interface for input RZ. You will need to do this also for the GUI. So the EGS GUI, remember that's important. We use that for PEG's data files, generating them mainly. And for the X underscore input RZ, this is a graphical user interface to modify input files for applications like those RZ, NRC, SPR RZ, Flu RZ, and so on. So I will fix this, then I think the system is ready for running some simulations. I hope this now completes the whole installation process on a virtual machine on VirtualBox, and probably the next episode I will demonstrate how to use parallel processing to run simulations under those RZ, those XYZ, or even beam simulations. I will be using the demo input files for those RZ, those XYZ, and beam to demonstrate that. So until we meet next time, I hope this episode was useful. Please share your thoughts. If you need me to cover anything, let me know. Until next time, thank you very much.